My late mom left me her house, but her ex-boyfriend still lives in it. Years later, he's still living with me. And now he's told his new girlfriend that he owns this house, so I'm kicking him out. When I was 17, my mom came into money. She tried to keep it quiet, but she paid off my dad's debts, bought him a small house, cleared her own debts, paid for my sister's college, and set up funds for mine. At the time, she had a boyfriend, and not long after, he and his son, who was 7, moved into our new house. Over the next few years, my mom bought my sister a house after she graduated college. Her boyfriend lived with us rent-free, though he did work. When I was 21, my mom was diagnosed with cancer. It wasn't good. She sat my sister and me down and went over exactly how much money there was. She intended to leave her current house to me, and both my sister and I received a large sum. At the end of it, she asked if I would let her boyfriend stay in the house with his son until he found his own place. I agreed. Before she passed, she made it clear to him that he needed to start looking, but she wanted to give him some time to save up. That was 4 years ago. Since then, he's continued living here with his son. I haven't minded much because we get along okay. I pay all the bills while he covers food for himself and his kid. He's dated off and on, but mostly kept his relationships out of the house, which I respected, until his current partner. She's been here 3 times, and while I felt a little uncomfortable, I let it slide, at first. But this past weekend pushed me over the edge. I was making myself lunch when she came downstairs, grabbed a plate, and went to take food straight from my pan. I asked her what she thought she was doing. She gave me a look and started talking, saying I should be looking for my own place, that it was pathetic for an adult to be leeching off his dead mom's past relationship. I hollered for my mom's old boyfriend. He came downstairs, and I told him I didn't know what his girlfriend thought, but I wasn't going to be disrespected in my own home. He wouldn't even look me in the eye. Just mumbled something about my mom promising him the house, and that he was just being generous by letting me stay. First of all, that isn't remotely true. My mom pulled him and me together after she asked if he could stay to set expectations. My mom met him shortly before she won the money and told him and us girls that she had no intention of leaving him money. She did set aside a fund for his son for college when he gets there, but he cannot touch it. Only his son can. He has lived in this house for almost 8 years without paying a dime. He should have plenty of money, and if he doesn't, that's on him. I told him he had 30 days to leave. I wasn't going to house someone who would lie and disrespect me in my own home. He left that night with his son, but his ex-wife called to tell me I am cruel and offer her son losing his house. He is here every other week. I really feel like my mom didn't expect him to still be here, but my sister said she feels like I'm breaking my promise to my mom, and that made me feel like maybe I am in the wrong comments. Comment 1. Sweetheart, you are not in the wrong. First, I'm so sorry. I'm 63 years old and lost my mom 2 years ago and my dad 8 years ago. I am not dealing with it well at all. You are the only one who knows if you're telling the truth. It seems very plausible to me. But if he was already saving money for a house when he met your mom, then lived 4 years with her and another 4 years with you, that man is just a loser. Is there any way your dad could come, stay with you the week he moves out? The first thing you need to do is change all of the locks and get yourself some sort of security system. Please don't feel bad for making him leave. It seems to me that your mom was really smart and planned things out very carefully, being that he had already lived with her for 4 years. I agree with the commenters who said she was probably thinking a month or 2, not years. If your sister makes any more comments, then you can tell her she's welcome to let him live with her again. So sorry for your loss. Please make sure you're safe and take care of yourself. Response: Thank you so much. My mom was the sweetest person, and when I was a teenager, I feel like I was a nightmare to her. I am thankful I was much better in my late teens, and so she got to see me mature a little before she passed. I wasn't always the best daughter, but she was always the best mom. I think part of letting him stay so long as having bonded with his son. But also, I liked having someone else around who loved my mom too. There were nights I would wake up from a nightmare and end up in the kitchen, and he would hear me and just come make a cup of coffee and sit and share a story about her, his son. Love Mom too, and some evenings we would get takeout and watch movies and joke about what commentary my mom would have had if she had seen the movie with us. My sister lives a state away, so we only really see each other once a month or so. I like not being alone in this big house. I do have a security system and the locks have been changed. He is coming over tomorrow to get his stuff. Comment 2 if he has stayed gone. I'm really hoping that you have changed the locks and gotten a security system. The first time I read what you wrote, I was thinking he walked out that night because he was upset. When I reread it, I realized that you were saying he moved out. Apologies for misunderstanding. Comment 3. I did zero this comment. However, I am 53 and my mom passed last April. That leech has been taking advantage of your family long enough. You can either set the record straight with his ex and girlfriend or close the book on this chapter. But definitely know that you are not in the wrong, and your mom request has been honored. I know that she is proud of you for being as good as you have been to him and his son. Take care. Update time for an update. I do want to take a moment to address some things I saw in the comments. There are trusts set up and neither my sister nor I have full access to the money left to us. This was done both because my sister and I were in our early 20s when my mom died, and she wanted to make sure we had some stability before we had access, as well as to protect us from people who might try to take advantage, especially while we were grieving. I have a lawyer. He has already informed me of the eviction laws in my area, and my mom's former boyfriend will be served with formal eviction papers just to cover myself, even after today. So, on to the update. My dad came over this morning. I decided not to have my boyfriend over since he doesn't know about the money side of things, and I wasn't trying to involve him in the situation, and brought along my cousin for easier telling. I'm going to call my mom's former boyfriend, Clive. Clive showed up around 10:00 a.m. my time and talked to my dad. Then he asked if he could have a couple of minutes alone with me. My dad nodded, so he and my cousin went into the kitchen while Clive and I sat in the living room. I'll be honest, I didn't expect it to go the way it did, but I'm glad it did. Clive started with an apology. I don't remember all the words he said, but the basics were, he missed my mom. He has been lonely, but not alone, thanks to me and his son, and he was sorry for what had happened. He admitted he got caught up in lust and let someone else fill his head with ideas. He owned up to his mistakes. He should have never put up with someone who would disrespect me or my mom's memory. He tried to hand me a cashier's check for $15,000. He said it wasn't much, but he wanted me to know he appreciated me and living with me and that he wanted to pay back some of what he owed. I refused to check, partly because I never wanted his money, but also because I didn't want to give him any possible legal leg to stand on if this was somehow an attempt to stay. I told him the first part and told him to put the money toward a house. He told me he is currently living with his sister, but is going to look at houses with a realtor next week. He also mentioned that his son is asking about our next hangout date and said both my sister and I are welcome to arrange time with him. After all of that, my dad and cousin helped him get all the stuff out of the house that he owned. He had brought a U-Haul and he gave me back my house keys. He apologized again and left. It wasn't what I expected, but it went really well, and I feel a lot less like I let my mom down.